Good morning, Kip One Primary. This is Mr. Jennings. I missed you guys dearly. It is 2021, and I wasn't able to celebrate our countdown with you guys, obviously, because there was no school. So, to get our lesson started today, we're going to start off with a countdown into 2021. All right, I have our countdown up. We're going to start at 11, and then when we get to 0, we're going to say Happy New Year, just like we did when the new year started with our families. And if you didn't get a chance to do it, this is your chance to do it with our entire school.
1.
That was so fun. I wanted to make sure that I was able to count down into the new year with you guys, even though we're a couple of days late. I'm so happy that we are all inside of 2021 and there are big things that are going to happen this year. Just like we do with every lesson, we're going to start off with our excellence mantra. When I say go, we're going to read our excellence mantra together. Ready, go. Respect what's mine, respect what's not. Respect our time, respect all thought. Work hard, try your best, take heart, shake the stress. Be kind and never give up. Rain or shine, I am enough. We're going to read this one more time. Respect what's mine, respect what's not. Respect our time, respect all thought. Work hard, try your best, take heart, shake the stress. Be kind and never give up. Rain or shine, I am enough. The week that the last week of school, we talked about respecting what's not. This week, we're going to talk about respecting our time. Respecting our time means a lot of different things. This means showing up to places on time. So this means getting ready for your morning meeting, getting ready for your guided reading, getting ready for your math block, getting ready for Holler for Hope, doing your homework on time, turning it in on time, going to one-on-one hours with your teachers, giving yourself and others time to themselves. Sometimes people need time to themselves. Maybe when you're happy or you're upset or anything, sometimes people just need time to themselves. So you need to also make sure that you are giving others time to themselves. Like, for example, if your mom or dad or your grandmother or grandfather just got off of work, sometimes they want that time to themselves and they might go in their room. They may lay down and they may not want to be bothered. Same with you. Sometimes when you get upset or you want to be by yourself, you want that time to yourself, and you don't want anyone to interrupt that time. So you want to make sure that you give yourself and others time to themselves. Sometimes, like Mr. Jennings, just like we've done in school, I want to meditate by myself. And we know you can like meditate with your fingers like this, or you can just close your eyes and meditate within yourself. And this is just sometimes that you can give to yourself to think about your day, think about your future, think about your past, think about things that you want to accomplish or do. You also want to make every second count. Whenever you wake up, as soon as you wake up, you want to make every second count. Make sure that you're doing something, whether it's learning, maybe you are teaching someone something, maybe you are doing some type of service like cleaning your home, cleaning your house, cleaning your community. Make every second count. Some of the most important things that you guys also need to keep in mind is making sure you have a good bedtime and making sure you have a good wake up time. Sometimes we might wake up and we might still be sleepy. Or sometimes when it's bedtime, you might want to stay up late after dark or after bedtime, but nothing's really going on at that time. Everyone needs a sufficient amount of time to go to sleep. So you need 8 hours really to be sleep at night. So if you're not getting at least 8 hours, you're not getting enough time of sleep. So I know that when I go to sleep, I will go to sleep at around 9 and I wake up around 6. I want to give myself a lot of time to sleep because that helps my body get ready for the next day. It gives me energy. So make sure you're doing the same. Make sure you have a great good bedtime and a good wake up time. You don't want to sleep too long either and miss your entire day. And now it's night again. And now it's time for you to go to sleep again. And then you'll be restless. So you want to make sure that you give yourself enough time to wake up and go to sleep. Now, with our lesson, we haven't been doing science for the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about identity and community. We are going into a different lesson this week. This is lesson 7. And in lesson 7, I'm going to be thinking about who are you or who am I? We need to know who we are. We've done different identity charts. We've done different identity workshops to learn who we are and why is that important. Let's learn some more today. Learning objectives. In this lesson, Kipsters will be able to make connections between the history and literature they study and their current lived experiences. Kipsters will also be able to understand identity is dynamic, complex, and personal, and it affects both how we see ourselves and how we interact with others. Kipsters finally will be able to understand our environment influences how we understand ourselves and others. And this is one of the objectives that's going to be very, very big inside of this lesson. How do we see ourselves and how do others see us? Like, what would others say about you? What would others say your identity is? We've been having these essential questions over our lessons. What makes me who I am? What parts of my identity do I choose for myself? And what parts are determined for me by others, by society, or by chance? How does my identity influence the choices available to me and the choices that I make? How can we work together to build kinder and more inclusive school and local communities? We're going to be focusing on that first question mostly. What makes me who I am, like I said at the beginning, and what parts of my identity do I choose for myself? And what parts are determined for me by others, by society, or by chance? In this lesson, we're going to be seeing how some people told an animal who he was. And it wasn't part of his identity, and they made that be a part of his identity. Identity work. Who tells you your identity? How do you get your identity? What words or labels would you use to describe yourself? What words might others use to describe you? So when we talk about who we are, this is when we did our identity chart. Who are you? So you might say that I'm a boy, or I'm a girl, or I'm a man, or I'm a woman, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a student, or I'm a kipster, I'm a soon to be middle schooler. I am soon to go. I will be a college graduate. There are different things that you can say that you identify as your identity. So this can be loving, caring, funny, charismatic. There are different things that you can say about your identity. And how do you get your identity? You get your identity through learned experiences and things that you want to be as a person. So, Mr. Jennings, for example, I'm kind. So when I say I'm kind, I want to be kind. So because I want to be kind, I do kind things. I do things that are kind. I can shape my identity as I go. If you want to be funny, you might study jokes, or if you might want to be a scientist, so you study science. There's different things that you can do to shape your identity, and that's how you get your identity. There's other things that people can say that you are, but you also have to choose for yourself. What do you want to be your identity? What words or labels would you use to describe yourself? These are things like loving or funny. So I said one thing that Mr. Jennings is kind. I'm kind. I'm also a teacher. I'm you guys' teacher. There are different ways you can label yourself. I want you to take a second and think about 2 or 3 things that you can label yourself as. Oh, okay, I hear some funnies. You might be funny. I hear you might be kind as well. Friendly. There's different ways that you can label yourself. So there's different words that you can use to say who you are and things that you can aspire to be to shape who you are. What words might others use to describe you? So this is something different. What I want you to do is take a second, go to someone in your house and and ask them what are some different ways that they would describe you. They might describe you like you said. They might say that you're kind. Some might say you're not funny. Some might say you're mean. But there's different things that you can take in and you can say, hey, if you think that I'm mean, maybe there's something that I can change about myself so people can see me as nice. Because we all want to be nice. We all want to be kind. We all want to be loving. So there's something that you might need to change. And that can help you be the person that you want to be or the identity that you want to shape for yourself. So we're going to be seeing a video of a bear and seeing how he said what his identity was, how others changed his identity. So they changed his identity by telling him what his identity is. So others can't really tell you your identity. They can give you suggestions or you can change those things, but no one can really tell you who you are and who you want to become. who you want to become. So we're going to watch that video of this bear and let's see some of the identity work that he had to do within himself.
Once upon a time, in fact it was on a Tuesday, the bear saw that it was time to go into a cave and hibernate. And that was just what he did. Not long afterward, in fact it was on a Wednesday, lots of workers arrived near that cave. While the bear slept, they built a great, huge factory. As winter turned to spring, the bear awoke and stepped out of his cave. His eyes popped. Where was the forest? Where was the grass? Where were the trees? Where were the flowers? What had happened? I must be dreaming, he said. Of course I'm dreaming. But it wasn't a dream. It was real. Just then, the foreman came out of the factory. Hey, you! Get back to work, he said. The bear replied, I don't work here. I'm a bear. The foreman laughed. That's a fine excuse for a man to keep from doing any work, saying he's a bear. The bear said, But I am a bear. The foreman stopped laughing. He was very mad. Don't try to fool me, he said. You're not a bear. You're a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat. I'm going to take you to the general manager. The general manager also insisted the bear was a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat. The bear said, No, you're mistaken. I am a bear. The general manager was very mad too. The bear said, I'm sorry to hear you say that. You see, I am a bear. The third vice president was even madder. The second vice president was more than mad or madder. He was furious. The first vice president yelled in rage. He said, You're not a bear. You're a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat. I'm going to take you to the president. The bear pleaded, This is a dreadful error, you know, because ever since I can remember, I've always been a bear. And that's exactly what the bear told the president. Thank you for telling me, the president said. You can't be a bear. Bears are only in a zoo or a circus. They're never inside a factory, and that's where you are, inside a factory. So how can you be a bear? The bear said, But I am a bear. The president said, Not only are you a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat, but you are also very stubborn. So I'm going to prove it to you once and for all that you are not a bear. The bear said, But I am a bear. The president packed his vice presidents and the bear into a car and they drove to the zoo. Bears at the zoo said the bear was not a bear because if he were a bear, he would be inside a cage. The bear said, But I am a bear. So they all left the zoo and they drove to the nearest circus. Is he a bear? The president asked the circus bears. The bear said no. If he were a bear, he would be wearing a little hat with a striped ribbon, holding onto a balloon and riding a bicycle. The bear said, But I am a bear. When the president and his vice presidents returned to the factory, they put the bear to work on a big machine with lots of other men. The bear worked on the big machine for many, many months. After a long, long time, the factory closed and all the workers went away. The bear was the last one left. And as he left the shut-down factory, he saw geese flying south and leaves falling from the trees. Winter was coming, he thought. It was time to hibernate. He found a cave and was about to enter when he stopped. I can't go in a cave. I'm not a bear. I'm a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat. As the days grew colder and the snow fell, the bear sat shivering with cold. I wish I were a bear, he thought. Then suddenly he got up, walked through the deep snow toward the cave. Inside it was cozy and snug. The icy wind and the cold, cold snow couldn't reach him there. He felt warm all over. He sank down on a bed of pine boughs, and soon he was happily asleep and dreaming sweet dreams, just like all bears do when they hibernate. So even though the foreman and the general manager and the third vice president and the second vice president and the first vice president and the president and the zoo bears and the circus bears had said he was a silly man who needed a shave and wore a fur coat, I don't think he really believed it. Do you? No, indeed, he knew he wasn't a silly man, and he wasn't a silly bear either.
So that was a pretty cool video that we just watched about the bear that wasn't. We seen a lot of different things happen. He started off, he said he was a bear. The foreman said he wasn't the bear. The general manager said he wasn't the bear. The first, second, and third vice president said he wasn't the bear. The president said he wasn't a bear. The circus said he wasn't a bear. And the zoo said he wasn't a bear. So all of these people were going against what the bear was saying, that he wasn't a bear, even though he actually was a bear. So we learned from this video, no matter what others might say or your identity is, you are the person who shapes your identity. No one can tell you who you really are. You have to decide that for yourself, and you have to strive to be the person or shape the identity that you want for yourself. So we seen that the bear at the end, he noticed that he actually was a bear when it was time to hibernate. But he went through a lot of silly things of people telling him what he wasn't. They just said that he was a silly man in a fur coat that needed a shave, when that wasn't true. We all know that he was a bear, but these people couldn't see past their own understandings that he wasn't a bear, because he was somewhere that they believed that he shouldn't have been, but he was a bear. So let's answer a couple of these questions. So what word does the bear use to describe himself? What word did others use to describe him? How does the identity of the bear shift over time? What do you think has more bearing on identity, the labels we give ourselves or the labels others give us? So we're going to answer these questions piece by piece. What word does the bear use to describe himself? I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to think, what words did the bear use to describe himself? He kept saying something to each one of these people. He kept saying something. What was he saying? Good. He kept saying, I am a bear. I am a bear. He kept telling people. They didn't say that he was a bear. They kept saying, no, you're just a man who is silly, who needs a shave. You are not a bear. What words did others use to describe him? They said he was a silly man who needed a shave and that he was not a bear. They said that if he was a bear, why would he be in a place of work? Why was he at their company? They said if he was a bear, he should be in the circus, or if he was a bear, he should be in the zoo. When we know that this was a bear, he just wasn't in the circus. He just wasn't in a zoo. He just happened to be by where they worked. How does the identity of the bear shift over time? So I want you to think, what happened when they kept telling the bear that he wasn't a bear? What did he end up doing? Give you a couple seconds to think. What did he end up doing? He ended up saying that he wasn't a bear, which is kind of silly. He let other people convince him what his identity was. He let other people convince him what his identity was. He let them say that he wasn't a bear, and he started to believe that he wasn't a bear. So his identity changed because he went from a bear to believing that he was a silly man in a fur coat that needed a shave, and that just wasn't true. He just was a bear that happened to be around their company at the time. What do you think has more bearing on identity, the labels we give ourselves or the labels others give us? So I want you to take a couple of seconds and think. What do you think is more important, the label that you give yourself or labels that other people give you? What's more important, what you say about yourself or what other people say about you? Give you a quick second. Good. It's what you think of yourself. What you think of yourself is more important than what others think of you. When other people are saying things about you, they might not know fully who you are and what you have chose your identity to be. And so what you believe about yourself is way more important than what others think about you or what other people believe your identity is, because no one can shape your identity but yourself. Other people can agree with your identity. Other people can make suggestions about your identity, but no one can tell you about your identity but yourself. You are the most important part of your identity. And so that's why when at the end of the video, when the bear was by himself, he was doing that identity work that we've been doing. He did that identity work and said, no, this is right. I am a bear. I live in a cave. It is time for me to hibernate. Outside was cold. I am a bear. And so he fell for what other people told him he was. He fell for those tricks. And then he found himself doing things that he shouldn't have been doing, because a bear shouldn't be working at a company or a mill. A bear doesn't belong there. They belong in other places that are not like around other people working and pulling levers and making things. We don't usually see that. So now this is towards the end of our lesson. So before winter break, uh, so we're wrapping up our lesson. Before the end of the break, I told everyone to send me in something that describes their identity, or tell me something that they are thankful for, or tell me a little bit about yourself. These friends who turned in these different things, they received $5 from Mr. Jennings. Every single one of these friends earned $5 from Mr. Jennings. And let's see what some of these friends said. This is from Daryl. My teacher and my mom shaped my identity because they always encourage me to do my best, even when I get frustrated. And when I do a good job, they celebrate me. Great job, Daryl. This is from Xavier. My mom has helped me shape my identity, and because she gave birth to me, she has been taking care of me since I was a baby. Very good, Xavier. Thank you for sharing this with us.
So my mama gave me her smile, her eyes, and I like to dance like my mama, and I am cute.
Thank you, Kenzie. You showed us some things that you have inherited from your mom. Those are some things that are shaping your identity that you kind of couldn't help. Your mom gave you your different features on your body. Very awesome. Let's see our next person.
What you said?
Okay. You said your stepdad,
My stepdad,
Jerry,
Jerry.
and then I said, how is he important to you?
How did he afford it to me?
Tell him, how is he important to you?
He's important to me because he told me to listen a lot in school. Then he told me to listen again.
And how did he shape you into being a better person?
By teaching me how to be a good boy and a better person.
Thank you, Roberto. You talked about how someone else is help shaping you into becoming a young boy, a young growing man, a young growing teenager, someone who is important to you and who is helping shape your identity as you grow up. Very good, Roberto. Let's see our last person.
Well, my name is Isaiah Franklin. I'm thankful for my grandma because she helped me with stuff. She's a great cooker. She's a lovable person, and that I love her. She loves me. I'm also thankful for my Uncle Curtis because he's a great listener. He's a good person to talk with. He loves me, and I love him. That's what I'm thankful for. Bye.
Thank you, Isaiah, for sharing some of the different things, the different people that you're thankful for, and why you're thankful for them. It's always important to celebrate the people that are around us, and all these people who submitted things. They showed you how different people are shaping their life and making them better people, while also caring for them and being understanding. Thank you to all these people who submitted some things. Congratulations on all of you guys' $5 that you guys have graciously earned, and glad we're starting off 2021. Super awesome. Let's wrap it up for this week. So, our learning objectives. Kids were able to understand identity is dynamic, complex, and personal. It affects both how we see ourselves and how we interact with others, like we've seen with the bear. Kids will also be able to understand that our environment influences how we understand ourselves and others. Finally, Kifters were able to make connections between the history and literature they study and their current lived experience. This week, what you guys can do for work submission. You guys can always send your work submission to cjennings at kipchicago.org. That is the way that you'll be able to be in our raffle to win $10. This week, all our friends earned $5 for being super awesome and turning in some of this work. This week, you're going to tell me a different part that shapes your identity. That is your name and what school you go to, which is KIP 1 Primary. So when you're sending me this video, you'll say, my name is blank and I go to KIP 1 Primary. And that will be another part of your identity as you grow up. So for example, I would say, my name is Mr. Jennings and I go to KIP 1 Primary. See you guys next week. Can't wait to learn some more new things with you guys.